Hello, everyone. Welcome to Clarity in Commerce, a new interview series brought to you by the Mars Agency, where we host candid conversations about game-changing trends in commerce with some of the talented, forward-thinking professionals that we have the pleasure of working with on a regular basis as clients and partners. The goal is to help you, the audience, better understand how to navigate this increasingly complex world of connected commerce by giving you an opportunity to learn from some of these experienced, successful professionals. The topic today is aligning brand and customer strategy for connected commerce success, and we've got an ideal person to talk to us about that. It is Christopher McClement, who is Vice President of Marketing for National Brands at Henkel. Chris has been in his current role since last September. Before that, he was focused on marketing for Henkel's laundry brands. His deep experience in CPG includes marketing roles at Abbott Laboratories and marketing, shopper marketing, and brand manager roles at Kraft Foods. So Chris, welcome. Thanks so much for being here.
Hey, thank you for having me.
And if you don't mind, we'll just dive right in. And first off, if you could tell us about your role and what it involves, what teams you're overseeing, what responsibilities you've got.
Sure. My current role is responsible as the Vice President of Marketing for our laundry and home care brands at Henkel Consumer Brands, as well as leading our advanced capabilities team, which is comprised of media and digital strategy, as well as our shopper marketing function and team, visual branding and design, our consumer call center, as well as our marketing operations team, which helps all of our brand teams get new products out into market.
Okay, which doesn't seem to leave a whole heck of a lot out in terms of marketing. So from your perspective, how have you seen the role of shopper engagement and customer marketing changing in relation to brand marketing?
Yeah, I think, obviously the brand marketing is always focused on equity, long-term strategy, putting in place the plans that drive the business forward. And shopper has been a close partner to that. I think it's evolving from the standpoint of how the retailer media landscape is also changing. So as we then see, the retailer media networks and extensions become an extension of the consumer media that we're activating as well. So as the consumer goes out into the world and becomes a shopper, we are also thinking then of how we carry our messaging through effectively within different places where she's going to choose our products.
Okay. Would you say then that the customer marketing has become more important within the overall marketing mix?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we look at, in terms of thinking about the process holistically end to end. So definitely as we look to drive growth in partnership with our retailers in service of our commercial ambitions, the shopper marketing landscape is evolving not too dissimilarly to any of the digital landscape where you can show up and activate your brand communication plans. It's a little different within a retailer environment, but the goal is the same. It's all about driving that frequency of connection, of elevating and activating brand messaging such that the consumer sees consistency in the brand experience and ideally leads to choice. As you think about the the purchase funnel of driving awareness to driving consideration to driving the trial, it's all a matter of getting to that endpoint of selection at shelf, be it in a digital shelf or in a physical retail shelf.
Okay. Given that, how do you see the role of brand marketing changing?
I think retailer, it's almost one where they shouldn't be separated, because your brand plan should be comprehensive of places where your communication and brand can show up. So I don't necessarily see them as two separate entities, but one where what we're seeking for our brand teams to do here at Henkel is think about that path to purchase and that consumer experience truly, again, in that end-to-end manner, wherein we definitely have different teams that may come around the discipline of shopper marketing, but the brand teams then need to work with those partners no differently than they work with other partners along the more perhaps the upper funnel communication. So they really are about getting to yes, so to speak, with the consumer, where they are, actively seeking and choosing your brand. And the retail shopper marketing aspect of that, is part and parcel of figuring out, the jobs to be done as you think about how to grow your business.
Okay, and I think you set up the next question very well there. What's the best way to align the two functions? Do you need structural change within the organization, or can you just develop better, like, kind of more transparent ways of working across?
Yeah, I think it's more the latter because structure follows strategy. And for us, we are constantly putting, but we be they subject matter experts or just folks that have a passion for the space into those roles to then go partner with the brand teams to help, drive against what the commercial ambitions are. So as you look at how we're set up, we have definitely a media consumer team that's buying perhaps more of the traditional expected, media that would inform a communications plan. But then we also have teams that are experts in terms of activating within the retail landscape, and they're working together such that it's not necessarily a handoff. It's more of a continuation of making sure that until that product gets in the basket or in the shopping cart, we are ensuring that the communication and touch points are covered across those two teams. So they're definitely not working independently. They sit next to one another. The conversations are ongoing and they're fluid as part of the overall process of how we put our plans together for our brands.
Okay, so given that way of thinking, how do you determine roles and responsibilities as new opportunities arise? And of course, the one everybody's talking about these days is retail media. Who owns retail media? Something like that.
Yeah, so retailer media is generally a choice in terms of how we deploy our dollars and our investment in our plan. So as we do, a bottoms up plan every year, we look at, areas where we need to do better in the brand from an activation standpoint to better drive that consideration and achieve ultimately, the marketing objective that is informed from the business objective. So it is, a rigorous process that then informs where we choose to invest our dollars. There's an aspect of looking at to the extent that you can measure and drive better and improved returns on spend. It is kind of a thing that we're continually interrogating within our plans from a measurement standpoint, such that we are investing against things where we have confidence that they will drive a return to move the business. And then also doing test and learns where retailers may be trying out different capabilities that they're seeking to stand up within the retailer media networks. We'll definitely participate in those where it makes sense, but it's always an extension of the holistic 360 plans that the brand teams are, investing and deploying annually within their marketing mix.
Okay, so you're already starting to talk about investment planning. What would you say are the strategic factors now that are driving customer investment?
I think obviously the customer has their own ambitions for what they want to accomplish as they engage with their shoppers at large. I think for us, we're constantly looking at where we can find the audiences that we're seeking to connect with, where we can then drive that change in purchase behavior that differentially improves our presence within the consumer basket over our competitions. And so that's something that we're continuously interrogating as we engage with our customers to understand where their omni teams are going, to then also help us get more confidence through the things that we can measure and through the partnership that we can get in terms of the holistic marketing mix and plans that we put in place with our retailers as we look at the initiatives that we have going on within our annual plan to make those choices. It's there isn't a cookie cutter approach, so there's no single answer that I think anybody in this setting would give to you to say it's X and then we did Y. It's a matter of balancing the conversations around where we need our brands to show up and where we need to focus our resources, in that they're not unlimited. So there is that constant choice that is being made in terms of where monies flow within our annual planning process. And
then tracking rigorously
exactly.
To make sure. Okay.
Exactly, because ideally, if you invest it, you want to track it. You're not going to track everything, but there are levers, there's tools that are in place for the marketing community at large to measure the returns on spend that we're getting out of those choices. And I think for us, and I think the community of CPG at large, is trying to find, kind of that best metric and best methodology or things that can drive a consistent read on the activation such that you have confidence year over year that you're driving higher productivity out of the dollars that we are able to then go invest against the brands.
Okay. As we wrap up here, I just wanted to ask you, is there like a single takeaway when you're talking about driving success with connected commerce? What's like the one key thing that people should be thinking about?
Yeah, I think ultimately, anyone invests any dollars against building the brand, the ultimate arbiter of success is, are you growing market share? If your market share is growing in the category and you're getting, to those commercial ambitions, then you know that the mix is working harder for you. And as much as it is connected commerce, there's obviously, a network of individuals, teams, leaders behind that are also driving and pushing against other levers of the mix to ensure that the total plan is growing. So, the measurement within connected commerce of retailer media or consumer media is one aspect of the total pie. And so it needs to continue to work as hard as the others in order to achieve that. So, it is a complementary system of events and actions that drive to the growth. So that's the annual ambition in terms of how we think about measuring success. It all comes together with one simple metric. Are you growing market share or not?
Great. Just before we go, I wanted to end with a kind of quirky little question.
Sure.
Personally, what is your favorite method of grocery fulfillment these days and why?
Being in the business, I love shopping in the grocery store. I think my family members don't go with me anymore because of the occupation. I can spend hours in aisles just staring at, trying to figure out why people did what they did in our practice. And so I definitely am somebody who's always live on the weekends, maybe after work on the weekdays, just wandering the aisles and doing the shopping myself.
And I think 80+% of the population is still with you on that in most cases. Okay, that's going to wrap it up for today. On behalf of everyone here at the Mars Agency, I just want to thank Chris McClement for being here with us and giving us all of these great insights. Chris, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Also want to thank all of you out there for joining us and spending a little time. We know your time is valuable too. So hopefully you're walking away with a couple of insights, a couple of thoughts that are going to make your jobs a little bit easier and your work a little better. If you need more information about aligning for success with connected commerce, please visit the marsagency.com website, go to the Insights and Thinking blog, got a lot of white papers and special reports there that can help you do just that. Also hope you come back in a couple of weeks and join us for the next edition of Clarity in Commerce. Thanks and have a great day.